Hey, it's me, Art V again, a real estate vet, and today's video is part 2 in our Finding Off-Market Deals series. So in this video, I'm going to talk about a lot of different ways that you can find off-market deals. I'm specifically focusing on indirect marketing, things that you do not directly to find deals, but things that come up, you set it and forget it kind of thing. So they're very helpful. A lot of times it's stuff you can do that you might not even have just thought of, but it makes a big difference. But these are things that hopefully everybody can implement. Now this video is a little bit longer than my normal format videos, but there was a lot of information to cover and I wanted to be thorough, and I didn't want to rush each topic because sometimes people don't get what I'm talking about in a specific topic and they want more detail. So I tried to give a little bit more detail in every topic. So hopefully this is beneficial for you and it's something that helps you. If you have questions, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. And until next time, happy hunting. Hello, and welcome once again to another episode of Rent to Wealth, How to Master Quick Turn Real Estate. I am your host, Art V, also known as a real estate vet. And today we are discussing the how-to market for off-market deals, part 2. I hope you all have enjoyed part 1 and the other video series, or the other videos on how to get the right mindset over motivation. So let's get into this and get started right away. So the first thing I want to talk about in this video is indirect marketing. If you look at the previous video, we talked about direct and indirect marketing. Indirect marketing is things that you're going to do and they're going to consistently put out the vibe or let people know that you are in business, you are buying properties. And a lot of this that I'm talking about is applies to almost any business. There are little nuances that you have to change, but it applies to almost any business. So with indirect marketing, these are things that you're going to put out that let people know all the time that you're marketing your business. A wise mentor that I had at one point told me, if marketing your business or marketing to buy houses were a crime, would you be arrested? In other words, would people know you even existed? If the police outlawed marketing to buy houses, would anybody be able to know that you buy houses? Would anybody say, hey, please go over there? If the answer is no, they wouldn't know, then you need to step up your marketing. If the answer is yes, I will be arrested immediately, then you're probably on the right path. Now, we're going to take a look at indirect marketing and a bunch of different ways to indirect market. So this is going to take a while, but it's going to give you a lot of different avenues. And the reason you want to have a lot of different avenues with indirect marketing is because you'll see as I go through this, you don't know what's going to work. So you might as well try them all. It doesn't take a lot to try each one of them and consistently do each one of them, but you don't know what's going to bring you that deal. The other benefit of indirect marketing is the video I did previously talked about if you have no money, no credit, no nothing, and you were just starting out, what you should do. Indirect marketing, a lot of these techniques cost a little bit of money. Not much, but a little bit. I'm talking a couple of $100 maybe, compared to some of the other stuff that we talked about in the previous video, like driving for dollars you could do and it would cost you nothing. Well, a tank of gas. So these are a little bit, if you're starting off and you have a little bit of money to put into this, then this might be where you want to start. If you are started with no money and then maybe you got your first deal and got it completed, which means you probably jumped ahead in the videos, but if you got your first deal completed, then congratulations. And you might want to take some of that money from that first deal and put this into building up your indirect marketing. It'll make a world of difference. So let's talk about this video. Like I said, we're specifically going to talk about indirect marketing. So again, before I talked about paid or sweat equity. Indirect marketing is low cost, but it is paid. So it's a hybrid. It's a little bit of sweat marketing because it requires you to do something, meaning you cannot sit on your butt and do it. You have to at least set it up. And it's usually a one-time payment. Usually you pay for indirect marketing one time as opposed to some of the other marketing techniques we're going to talk about later that you're going to pay consistently. It also deals with, I talked about before, relationship marketing. And this is going to affect relationship marketing. So they kind of all work together. Relationship marketing, paid marketing, and sweat marketing. All of them kind of work together with indirect marketing. And it's a hybrid of all of these put together. So that's something to keep in mind. So let's talk about it. Now, one of the things that constantly comes up about marketing your real estate business that I deal with new students in our mastermind group and things like that. Oh, by the way, before we move forward, let's have a quick word from our handsome sponsor. Hey, this is Art Veal, a real estate vet. I wanted to take a moment to tell you about our mastermind. If you're interested, if you follow my page or any of my videos for any amount of time, you know the strategy that I preach, which is to, if you don't have a lot of money or credit or don't have a lot of real estate knowledge, to quick term real estate and then take that quick term single family real estate, make some money on it, and then put that money into commercial real estate. If you're struggling with how to do that, or you want to get help, or you want to get on the fast track to doing that quickly, I suggest joining my mastermind. Great way for you to learn quick term real estate the same way that I did it and built my company. We did over $3 million last year. And the year before that, we did just under $1 million. And when I say that, I mean profit, not, total sales of houses. That's actual profit. With our quick term mastermind, we're going to help you set up your company if you need help with that. We're going to help you set up the marketing. We're going to take in all the calls and only give you the calls that make sense, that are worth negotiating. We're going to teach you how to negotiate so you know how to negotiate these deals quickly and easily. We're going to help you identify the deals. We're going to help you set up your financing so that you can purchase all the properties that you need to without worrying about how you're going to pay for them. We're going to help you assemble a superstar team. We're going to help you prep for resale. Once you own the property and once you finish negotiating everything, we're going to help you prep for resale. We're going to teach you to scale multiple deals so that you're doing multiple deals at any given time. And most importantly, this is like a master's in quick term real estate. There's a lot more to this. And the most important skill you're going to learn is how to cash the checks, because that's what you're going to be doing with this program, because we make money when you do. So our interest is vested in you being successful. So if you got a second, click on the link below. Join our hotel mastermind today. You can apply. Applications are open, and we'll look forward to working with you and hope to see you soon. Till next time, happy hunting. Now let's get back into this video. Welcome back. So as I was saying, one of the things that comes up all the time about marketing for your real estate business in general is people, especially when they're starting out, they are embarrassed. And they're embarrassed. I ask them, why are you embarrassed? And their biggest answer is, I don't want friends and family laughing at me about my business. And that happens a lot of times when you talk about getting into real estate. A big response from a lot of people is, oh, you're doing that real estate thing, oh my goodness, I did real estate and it didn't work out, or I did real estate and, oh, you should talk to me, I know what I'm talking about, and that kind of thing. The thing I want you to keep in mind is that you are helping people with this business, and I mean that sincerely. People in the past have looked at real estate investment, especially quick term real estate or wholesaling and all that other kind of stuff. They looked at it kind of like vultures. You go in and you steal the house from people at a really low price. I'm going to give you a different way to look at it, and I found it to be very true in my career. You are helping a lot of people. You have to you're thinking about how you look at real estate. And a lot of people, when they say how real estate investors are vultures, they're thinking about how they look at real estate. And they're saying something like, well, you just offer them a low price. There are a lot of people in this world that literally have an issue with the property, and money is the second or third most important thing about this property. And so if you solve the problem of the property and whatever the issues are, that is definitely helping them, and they are very pleased to be helped. I'll give you an example. Bought a house from a woman. The woman called in from some of our marketing, said, I have a house for sale. I said, okay, give me the details. It was a brick bungalow. She said, I don't know much about the house, but I have to sell it. Turns out her husband, she had been separated from her husband for 20 years. Her husband, she moved to California. Her husband never moved. He stayed in the local area, and he owned a house, and he passed. And because they were married and never got a divorce, she now owned the property. And what was happening was the house was vacant, but she was getting bills. They had deeded her the house, but she was getting bills from the water bill, the gas bill, electric bill. Everything was still on in the house, and she was on a fixed income, so this was hurting her income. And so she got this property that she didn't plan to get. She didn't plan to come and take care of it in Chicago. She lived in California, and what she was going to do was she just wanted to get rid of the property, but she did not want to go to the house. She didn't want to fly into the area. She didn't want to do any of that. She just wanted to get rid of the house. So when she talked to us and we explained that we could buy the house and she wouldn't have to come here and we would take care of everything, she was ecstatic. She was happy. She could care less about the value. She didn't want to get something because, hey, she was on a fixed income and she did want something, but she was not nearly as interested in how much she was getting as the fact that she didn't have to fly here. She didn't have to deal with all the bills. She didn't have to deal with cleaning out the house and everything else. So her issue was her issues of the convenience and her issue of the ease of being able to do it and her issue of not having to deal with the bills, the fees, the ongoing costs were much more important to her than how much money she got on the house. And that's helping her. When we finished the deal and she got her check, we were able to send everything. She got her check. She actually got her money wired to her from the closing company. When she got her check, she literally wrote us a 4-page letter that just thanked us and said, you know, if there's anything I can ever do, thank you for helping with this. It was such a relief and this, that, and the other. She was very happy. She did not feel that we had taken advantage of her. And I'm very transparent. When someone deals with me, I will tell them, we are going to make a substantial profit on your property. If that bothers them, if they can't deal with it, if they don't want to sell us the house, okay, don't sell us the house. You'll still be stuck with your problem. You need me. I need to buy houses. There's a billion houses out here. You need one person to buy your house. You have a very specific need. I need any of these millions of houses to say they want me to buy their house. You need someone to buy your house today. So you have to keep that in mind and look at it that way, that you're helping people. The other thing you need to know is you are the solution. You are someone's solution to their problem. They've been dealing with this. I've dealt with families that are dealing with divorce. I've dealt with families that are dealing with a death in the family and the siblings are arguing and fighting and don't like each other. I've dealt with children that the parents died and the parents didn't leave a will, and you have to go through the whole thing with dealing with all the siblings. Just all kinds of scenarios. People that their house has been turned into a drug house and it's in a decent area, but squatters moved in and they actually opened a meth lab in the house and you had to go through cleaning out. That's another thing. Meth labs are very difficult to deal with. Still make money, but you have to adjust the price accordingly. Anyway, I've dealt with all kinds of situations, and to all of these people, when we help them, we are the solution. They are extremely happy with us because we are the solution, and you have to keep that in mind when people are laughing at your business. Now, the other thing to remember with this is if you won't fight for your business, if you won't believe in this business, who will? A lot of times it is our will that makes things happen. If somebody tells you, for all you single parents, for somebody to tell you your child is not going to graduate because your child is stupid, something like that. If you accept that, then you accept it. But a lot of times you will. I have seen parents willed their kids to do better and work with them until they did better, and willed their kids to not only graduate, but do exceptionally well, better than ever imagined. It's because your will. You have to have stronger will than the people who are laughing at you. Which brings me to my next point, which is the most important. This is the most important. So what? Who the cares that they're laughing at you? Are you going to let someone laughing at you stop you from building a business that can change your life? Are you going to let that happen? I cannot stress this enough. I had people, when I started off in I'm going to give you a quick story because I'm a storyteller. When I started off in real estate, it was me and my wife. I was in my 20s. I was in my early 20s. I had learned some of the stuff that I'm talking about. I learned about it and I was determined to do it. And I remember driving around doing the flyers. Remember, if you saw the other video, I talked about doing flyers. I was driving around doing the flyers, and it was me and my wife and my mother-in-law. This is my mother-in-law. She literally was in the back of the car, and she picked up one of the flyers. She was riding around with us while we were driving through these neighborhoods, and she picked up a flyer and said, "You buy houses for cash. You don't have any money, and you don't even you can't buy houses." And she laughed at me. She laughed at me. Now, I could have taken that and I could have said, "Oh, man, don't laugh at me. Oh, this is stupid. I'm not going to do it." But you know what? Here we are 20-something years later. I'm probably close to 30 years later. And now I have retired my mother-in-law. I have retired her. So I've given her a way for her to have income for the rest of her life so that she can choose whether or not she chooses to work. And she's living off of the business and the career and the things that I set up. So at the end of the day, There are people that are going to laugh at you that will end up working for you. There are people that are going to laugh at you that you might decide to help and better their lives. Someone in the largest companies in the world, someone had to believe in that company and had to believe that they were going to make something. You be that person. Believe that you are going to make this happen. Don't let anybody tell you they're embarrassed or anything, or you're embarrassing, or you don't be embarrassed. You're a solution. You're helping people, and who the F cares? So that moves me on to my next step. Let's get into it. Indirect marketing. Okay. So one more time, let's take a word from my sponsor before we get into this indirect marketing. Hey, this is Art Veal, a real estate vet. Just to let you know, we love putting out this content. And if you love what we're putting out, then please do me a favor, give me a thumbs up or a like on this video. Every little bit helps, and we want to know that we're putting out stuff that's relevant and important to you. So give me a thumbs up. And also, if you ever have a question, hit me up on email at a.real.estate.vet@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer your questions. Now let's get back into this video. Until next time, happy hunting. All right, and we're back. Indirect marketing. It's time to let the world know who you are. So let's talk about some ways you can do indirect marketing. Remember, these are going to cost you something, but they're usually a one-time charge. The first thing is business cards. Business cards are a way of indirect marketing. What you have to remember with business cards, a lot of people make the mistake with business cards of telling the world how great they are. The world does not care how great you are. The world cares about what you can do for them. The more you give, the more you get. So instead of making a card and it says, we buy houses, my name is so-and-so, I'm a great investor, been investing for 25 years, I buy cash and everything else, and here's my phone number, here's my email, check out my website, and this, that, and the other. Instead of doing all of that, my card is very basic. If I can, I'll throw one up on this video so you can see it. My card is very basic. We buy houses, cash, phone number. Because at the end of the day, that is what you care about. We buy houses. We can buy your house. Now, it's not sexy, it's not beautiful, it's not anything other than it tells people what benefit it has for them. When someone looks at your business card, they've got about 4 seconds to make a decision on if they're going to use that service. Business cards need to be about what you can do for people, not a testament to how great you are. Don't put your picture on there. Don't put all kinds of information. The reason now, realtors a lot of times put their pictures on business cards because it builds trust. Our process is going to build trust with dealing with them. These people are less concerned. You know what the trust is? The fact that you say you can buy the house cash, or the fact that you're going to buy their house. That's the trust. They're choosing you to solve their problem. Realtors, there's a million realtors out there, and they may or may not do business with that realtor. With you as a business owner and buying and selling houses, you want to let them know what you do, and that's all, and how it helps them. That's all you care about. Let them figure out the rest. So business cards is one. And you're going to drop these business cards everywhere. Everywhere. When you go to the grocery store, if you can put it in the little entryway, they got a thing that lets you put a business card there, put it there. When you go to a restaurant, they have all the little business cards out there, put it there. When you go to any event and there's a place you can put business cards, even if it's a place you can stick business cards, that there aren't a lot of business cards, stick it there. It's not illegal to put a business card someplace. When you're talking to people, hey man, let me give you a business card. Here's a business card. Keep a business card on you and pass them out. It is a little you. It is going to keep the words that you're saying out to the world. Pass business cards out abundantly. If you buy a pack of 1,000 business cards, it may run you, I don't know, $150, something like that, $200. You should probably be done with 500 business cards in 2 to 3 months. If you're doing everything that I'm going to go through in this program. So that's how much you should be passing them out. Next is car signs. Now, I did this for years. I had magnetic car signs made that said, again, we buy houses, cash, and a phone number. And you don't have to go into, some people go in and they put, mortgage takeovers, this, that, and the other. No one cares. No one cares how you're going to buy the house. They care that you're buying the house. Remember, this is a problem for some of these people. They want you to solve their problem. Tell them that you buy houses, cash, and then leave a phone number, and that's it. Or maybe a website if you want to do that. But that's it. Other than that, you don't have to do anything. But this works great. You'd be amazed how many times you get pulled over, or you're at a stoplight and you see somebody taking a picture with their phone of your car because of the car signs, or they pull you over and say, hey, you buy houses, I got a house and I'm trying to sell it and this, that, and the other. They wouldn't do that if they didn't know. So put up a car sign. Car signs, when I did them last, they were maybe $40 for a set of car signs. And they're magnetic signs. They go on the side of your car. They work. They work. Now, I don't know what else to tell you. They work. So that's something you should also consider, car signs. Another thing is a website. Now, before I get into this website thing, I want to be clear. If you have any, in this day and age, people look at websites and everything and social media as, oh, you got to make it slick and this, that, and the other. You don't have to make it slick. Again, the people that you're talking about are typically more motivated in what you're doing for them than they are the website. And I'll put it this way. Who's going to have a more likely probability that they're going to want to sell you a house? Is it an older woman that's been in her house for 30 years, all of her kids have moved out, she's now ready to retire, or she's retired and she's ready to move to a senior citizen home and she wants to sell the house? Or is it a 20-something millennial that just got out of college or they're just finishing college and they're very internet savvy and they've got all the social media apps and they're constantly talking? Is that person more likely to sell, or is the older woman? I don't know. It depends on your market. But in my market, I can tell you most of the time it's the older woman. So the older woman, if she does get on the internet, which some older people do, a lot of older people get on the internet. Don't bash me. I'm not talking about older people. If she does not want a glitz and glamour website. She wants something that says, hey, this is what we do. Give us your information. We'll reach out to you and talk to you. If you're not sure how to do this, you do not need to go out and spend a ton of money on building a website. The simplest solution is to go on Wix, W-I-X, Wix.com. Wix.com allows you to make a beautiful website with graphics and everything else. It doesn't have to be anything great. It can be very basic. And you just need a collection form that says, give me your information, and I have someone reach out to. And then you can also make it for a mobile app if you're really internet savvy and you want to do that, but that's not necessary. But a website is another thing that's indirect marketing, and you can always refer people. Some people don't like to call phone numbers. They like to, check things out on a website. And you can put whatever you want to put in the website, but focus on what you do for the person, not who you are. And hey, I've got 25 years of experience, because at the end of the day, no one cares. I cannot stress that enough. No one cares what you are. They care what you can do for them. Keep that in mind with everything you do. Ask them, is this celebrating me, or is this telling them what I can do for them? If it's telling them what you can do for them, then go with it. If it's telling you, celebrating you, and you're all proud of your business, scrap it, because it's probably unnecessary. So that's a website. Like I said, go to Wix.com, W-I-X. You don't have to go to Wix. I'm not endorsing Wix.com, but that's one way I know to make a quick website, and it's pretty easy. You pay a monthly fee if you want to do the website, or you can pay it annually. But you can do anything. You can do GoDaddy and do the same thing. You can do any website builder. You can do one pretty quickly. Don't spend, if you find yourself spending $1,000 on this thing, you paid way too much. You should be able to build a website for yourself in a day if you're not internet savvy, or have someone build it. Go on Fiverr.com, Fiverr, Fiverr.com, because they have all kinds of people that can easily build a website for you, and it's pretty cheap, and they'll make something. You don't need anything flashy. So that's enough about websites. Next, we've got handwritten notes to past leads asking for referrals. So once you've been in this business for a while, you're going to buy some houses, and you're going to have some people that you've worked with in the past. People that you bought a house from them, and whatever you did with it, are a great way to get leads indirectly, because a lot of times people that owned a house and they sold it know other people that own houses, and they might be willing to sell them or might be interested in selling them. Think about the older lady that I talked about earlier in this video. An older person that's moving to a senior citizen home, I can almost guarantee you she's probably got older friends that are considering doing the same thing because they're around the same age, and they might be interested in selling. And if she had a good experience with you, then there's a good chance she would make a referral and say, hey, you should talk to so-and-so you should talk to Art about selling your house. He bought my house and it was great. And there's no better marketing than word of mouth. Someone that someone knows telling them to help, or that they should use this person. It just works great because they trust that person. So they're immediately going to assign that trust to the new person that's helping them. So handwritten notes. So what you do is if you go see a house, some people go see houses, some people don't. If you go see a house and you make an offer to buy it or anything like that, then after you go see that house, after you've made the offer, then what I do is typically you'll write a handwritten note and say, thank you for allowing me to see your house and make you an offer. If I look forward to hearing from you. And then put that in the envelope and then put that in the mail. If you're going to see the house, I suggest putting it in the mail. Take it with you to go see the house and then putting it in the mail as soon as you finish seeing the house. It works great and you won't forget about it. And you would be amazed at how many people like the fact that you took a moment and wrote them a handwritten note to say, hey, do you know anybody? And they're going to keep you top of mind, even if they don't know someone right now. When they come across someone that says, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house, you're immediately going to pop in their mind because they're going to remember, Art gave me that handwritten note. I'm going to tell you about him. And you can put a business card in that handwritten note and let them pass it to their friends. So that's another great way, and it works. The other thing, this is one of my favorites, is branded swag. Branded swag is stuff like hats, t-shirts, hoodies, pins, markers, letter openers, anything you can think of that would be something that a customer might want, and it has your branding on it. And it doesn't need to be, I'll say it again, it doesn't need to say anything great. We buy houses, Art, and a phone number. That would be it. We buy houses, my name, phone number. And that can be on a shirt, that can be on a hat, that can be on a pin. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, make this catchy phrase, this, and this, or, make some kind of catchy phrase. You don't need that. If you have a shirt and it says, we buy houses, phone number, Art, and then on the back it said, we buy houses, phone number, Art, you're going to get more calls from that than you realize. And they're going to say, oh, I saw the guy walking in the grocery store, and so I took a picture of his shirt, and I'm calling because I have a house I wanted to sell. I would suggest not only you wear branded swag, but you pass out branded swag. Let me give you an example. Had some shirts. Nothing fancy about these shirts. They said, we buy houses. I gave one of the shirts to my daughter. She needed a shirt for art class, and I gave it to her. She took it to school. She needed to paint. She needed a paint smock or whatever. She needed a shirt. This was years ago. She needed a paint smock, and she used my shirt, and they said, we buy houses. I got 2 calls from parents in the school with my child. They saw her after school with the shirt on that said, we buy houses, and they knew they wanted to buy the house, and they knew that someone from the school was probably buying houses, and they called me, and we ended up buying some houses from these people. And it all came from me passing out a shirt to my daughter. Pass out hats to your kids. Pass out hats and shirts to, if you go to an event and it makes sense, pass out shirts. Now, if you go to a real estate event, don't pass out shirts because there are other real estate investors there, and the last thing they're going to do is walk around with your shirt saying you buy houses when they also buy houses. But this is great if you go to any event, and they're not expensive. The shirts might, if you buy them in bulk, I think we bought 50 shirts at a time, and they cost us a couple of $100, and we just got them branded with our company, We Buy Houses, and everything else. And you pass them out. You don't pass them out as liberally as business cards, but you pass them out to people. It doesn't matter if they're in the business or not, because a lot of times they're not going to be the one to call you. It's going to be someone that sees the shirt that has nothing to do with them, and it'll just be like little billboards walking around your town with your shirts on and your hats on, or passing out your pins. If you do pins, leave a pin everywhere you go. Leave a pin in the bank. Leave a pin everywhere you go. Leave a pin, because people pick up pins and they'll pick it up even if they don't read it. They'll get it in their car. Somebody will be in the car and they'll look at the pin and say, oh, we buy houses. Let me call them. You'll get calls from it. Branded swag is an excellent way for indirect marketing. So let's move on. Hopefully that's enough about branded swag. Now, what I'm about to get into is the number one way to market with indirect marketing. And I cannot tell you how many times all of this, what I'm about to show you, has made a monumental change in my business or allowed us to grow in ways that I never could have imagined. But you will get, I don't even know how to say it. I get emotional when I think about this. But you will get all kinds of information, help, everything from what I'm about to show you. So here is the number one way that we use, even to this day, indirect marketing. Networking. Networking is the number one way to connect with people. Just getting out there, letting people know who you are. Now, I'm going to talk about several ways you can network, and they are very effective, but you have to do them consistently. You have to make it part of your psyche that when you go out, you talk the way I'm going to talk to you about talking, and the way you say things to people. Doesn't matter if you know people or not. If you're outgoing, this is going to make a world of difference. So first thing that you should do is join a RIA. That's a Real Estate Investment Association. Wherever you are in the world, I'm assuming you're in America, but if you're not, wherever you are in the world, there's more than likely a RIA group somewhere nearby you. You can go onto Google and simply search your area RIA, R-E-I-A, and something will come up and it'll say, this is a group you can join. You don't have to pay the membership fee if you don't want. Go a couple of times, once or twice. They're usually very friendly. They'll talk to you. You don't have to be experienced. You don't have to be knowledgeable, but there'll be other investors there. You'll get to learn about their stories, what they're doing. You'll get to meet all kinds of people. And most importantly, they will bring deals to the meetings. They will come to these meetings with deals. They will come to this meeting with all kinds of information for you. They will just share information. It will just be a great time and a great set of people for you to connect with. And at the end of the day, you're going to be successful because some of the things, one of the biggest benefits of a RIA is you're going to meet people that, one, have deals. They might have something that makes sense or something they want to partner with you on. So you're going to meet people with deals, but you're also going to get all kinds of information that you never would have imagined. When we get into financing, one of the things I talk about in financing, I'm going to kind of preempt this, is private lenders. I've used private lenders extensively throughout my career, and they have made a ground-shattering difference in the number of deals I'm able to do, the amount of deals I'm able to do, the amount of money I'm able to put together. Private lenders are huge. I got my first private lenders from going to a RIA and just talking to people. And once you learn about private lenders in the next videos, the videos I do on financing, then you'll see why it makes sense. But RIAs are an excellent resource and they make a huge difference in your business. So you should join a RIA. They usually do meetings once a month. Go to the meeting, don't have any expectations, and just go with an open mind and an open business card. Make sure you carry a business card or carry a lot of business cards and just let people know who you are. Some people are investors and they're more seasoned. Some people are completely new. Some people are in somewhere in between, but you'll meet people. The next thing I want to talk about is connection referrals. Everybody, if you've ever heard the term 5 degrees of separation, that means that for those of you that don't know, that means that everybody on the planet is connected by 5 degrees of separation or less. So let's say I want to meet Jay-Z. Let's say I want to meet Jay-Z. Somebody I know, if I asked the 5 people in my circle, I could say, hey, I want to meet Jay-Z. Do you know him or know anybody that knows him? Then they'll say, no, I don't know him, but maybe so-and-so knows him. I'll go to so-and-so. Hey, so-and-so, do you know? And do this with 5 people in your circle. Everybody they tell you to go to, then you go to those people. Hey, I'm looking to try to meet Jay-Z. Do you know him or anybody that might know him? No, I don't know him, but my cousin's an entertainment attorney. He might know him or he might know somebody about him. You go talk to that person. You do that with every 5 people they give you, do that. You go to the next person. Hey, I'm trying to meet Jay-Z, and so on and so forth. By the 5th person or less, you should be with somebody that, if not knows Jay-Z directly, they know someone who can directly put you in contact with Jay-Z. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying this so you all go out and try to meet Jay-Z. I have no, if Jay-Z's listening to this, then Jay-Z give me a call. But at the same time, if he's listening to this, I am in no way disclosing that you should go talk to Jay-Z or that you should try to meet Jay-Z. That is not the point of this. But connection referrals are a huge benefit to you. If you let 5 people, everyone you know around you know, hey, I'm a real estate investor now. I'm starting a real estate business. I'm buying single family or I'm buying properties. If you know anybody that's selling or that might be interested in selling, give them my number. Or do you know anyone that's interested in selling? And then do the same thing. They say, no, but so-and-so might know someone, and you go meet people. You will meet people that eventually want to sell a house, or they know someone that wants to sell a house. And this will be a huge connection to you. Now, I used to know a technique that I had learned that allowed most people don't feel comfortable with this because they don't feel comfortable calling people. But if you've ever dealt with a contractor, if you ever dealt with a lawyer, if you've ever dealt with a banker, if you've ever dealt with any of these people, there's a good chance you know somebody that might know people that are selling houses or something like that. And people don't tell them that they're looking for deals, that they're looking for a buyer, someone to sell a property. So if you've got a contractor that goes around working on people's houses and you haven't let him know that if a deal comes across his table, let you know because you're interested in buying it, then you're failing. You got to let everybody know. I don't care if they laugh at you. I don't care if they say, I don't know anybody like that. Hey, everybody's buying houses. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you let them know what you do, and that way it is what it is. So they know what you do. If you don't let them know, they could have all kinds of connections and they would never refer you because you never let them know. So you have to use your connection referrals. The way that I learned before in the past was I was told to take a card and write down the names of everybody, take a bunch of cards, write down the names of everybody, one on each card, of everybody in my professional and friends network. So my brother, my cousin, my boss, my coworker, my valet at the parking lot, just everybody I can think of, I will put them on a different card. I would then take all those cards, put them into a hat, shake up the hat. Every day I will pull 5 names, call those 5 people or reach out to those 5 people and say, hey, I know you know me, I know you. I'm in the real estate business now. I'm actively looking to buy properties. Do you know anybody interested in selling? And call those 5 people. If you really want to step it up, do 10 people. If you do that every day for 30 days and do everybody in that network or the people they refer you to, you add them to a card and you throw them in the hat. And every day, if you do that for 30 days, I guarantee you by the time you finish 30 days, everybody will know and you will have people calling you saying they want you to buy their house, or they'll be calling you saying this person's selling their house, reach out to them. So that's a very real thing. You have to get over that fear of talking to people. But at the end of the day, who cares if they don't think you're serious or whatever? Who cares? The next thing up is partnering with realtors. Now, let me explain this one really quick. Hopefully, this is something that some of you will want to attempt. Realtors are in this business to make money. And a lot of times, realtors that are not well-versed or they don't know, realtors a lot of times can range. Someone is a realtor doesn't mean they're good at real estate. They might be brand new to real estate. You might know more about real estate than them, and they're a realtor. But some people are very seasoned and very experienced realtors. Partnering with a realtor. If you reach out to a realtor, and there's a very specific way to do this that I've done, and I'm going to tell you how I did it. What I did was I looked up the top 3 real estate brokerages in my area. Top 3 real estate brokers. So let's say it was Coldwell Banker, Northside, whatever that specific branch is or something like that. I then called those stores and called those brokerages and I said, who are the top 2 realtors in your office? And they'll say, this person and this person. Which one's the top? And they'll say, this person. I say, can I talk to that person? They'll let me talk to that person, or they'll let me talk to their team, because a lot of times they're part of a team. When I talk to their team, I say, hey, my name's Art. I'm a real estate investor. I'm interested in buying properties. I am not interested in anything listed. I'm interested in anything you have that's off market, or anything that you all are not able to put under agreement to purchase. So if there's something that you can't or you won't list or something like that, or maybe it's not out of your market or something like that, I'd like to, get a crack at it. And then, if you can't, if I can, work with you, then you can be the realtor. Otherwise, if you're not the realtor, or maybe the deal didn't make sense for you to be the realtor, I'll pay you a referral fee for referring me the deal. And some of them are going to say no. Some of them are going to say, no, I don't want to do that. Have a nice day. That's fine. Did you lose anything? Did it cost you any money? Did it hurt your feelings? If it hurt your feelings, get over it. Toughen up. This is a business. If you think you're going to call every single person and every person's going to be in love with you, every person's going to want to do what you're doing, you're crazy. That's not how it works. You're going to talk to them and you're going to reach out. And if you call all 3 top guys in the market, call back and ask for the second guy. Do the same thing with the second guy until you get 2 or 3 realtors that say, hey, if anything comes up or if I get anything off market. Now, you're not looking for them to necessarily bring you deals, but they will bring you stuff where sometimes it is a deal and it makes sense. Other times it'll be something that maybe they didn't want to take on, or they thought that the area was too rough, or they thought that there wasn't enough space in it for it to make sense, or they thought anything, or maybe they just didn't get along with the person and the person didn't want to, or the person doesn't want them to show people the house. The person just wants somebody to buy it, and you could be the person they refer to. It's a resource for them, and they're a resource for you. You should use it, and it doesn't hurt you at all, and it costs you literally a phone call. If you can't waste a phone call on calling these realtors, then why are you doing this? So that's the partnering with realtors. The next is, once you start doing deals, this is another big thing that will help you. Collect testimonials. In the beginning of my career, when I started buying and selling houses, and I was getting to a point where I was starting to scale a little bit, I would do maybe one house every 2 months, something like that. And I would get people that were so happy that I helped them, sell this house or buy this house from them, or help them get into a house. And what I started doing was I would take out my phone and say, hey, do you mind if we do a quick testimonial, just where you tell people what you thought of my service and everything else? And then I put them on the phone with me and say, hey, this is Art. I'm here with one of my sellers or one of my buyers, and I just wanted her to tell you how her experience is with our company. And then she would get on there and I love this place. They helped me and they bought my house and everything was great. It was very smooth. And you let them say whatever they want. It was very smooth. I'm happy. I'm grateful and everything else. And if you're thinking about selling your house, call them. Call Art. And then they do a testimonial. It took all of 45 seconds. And some people would talk for a minute or two, but it took 45 seconds normally. But that testimonial then can be used in your other marketing as you grow. And it will be invaluable, because there's nothing better for people to believe you are who you say you are than other people telling them you are who you say you are. And the reason you want to use real testimonials, you can go online and buy fake testimonials, but you want to use real testimonials because the way they talk, they're going to let people know that this is genuine. This person is genuine. Now, you have to be a genuine person with this. You can't be a slime ball and then turn around and expect people to, tell you how great you were. But if you're a ethical and reasonable person and you did a good job with this person, by all means, ask them for a testimonial so you can use it later. It's worth it. Now, the only other thing is I typically send them a text message after I do a testimonial just saying, hey, please confirm yes to this text message that it's okay to use your video in my media, because you don't want to get sued from someone saying, I didn't tell you could put that out there. I don't want people knowing I dealt with you. But that's rare, but you can always do a text message or an email or something like that. I like to do a text message saying that it's okay to use this and respond back with yes. And that way I have them in a text, and then I take a picture of the text with the phone number on it, and then I keep it in my notes so I have that as something that says that they were okay with me using it, and that way they knew. So that's testimonials. Another is to ask sellers for other sellers and property. This is huge, and it sounds weird, but I'm going to tell you a story. We had a house, this was actually a year and a half ago. When we're talking to sellers, we always make a point, whenever we talk to them, before we get off the phone, we say, hey, by the way, if you know anyone else interested in selling a house, would you mind giving us their name and number so we can call them and we'll reach out to them about selling the house? Or we'll ask, later on, we'll ask, also, do you have any other properties that you want to sell? Those two questions can make you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. First one happened, we asked the person that if they knew anybody else willing to sell. They said, yes, my nephew has a property he wants to sell. This is an older woman. She said her nephew has a house, and she gave us the number. We called the nephew. The nephew had a property that had to be worth, I want to say $450,000. The nephew had inherited from parents that had died, and the nephew did not want to take care of it. The nephew lived out of state, and the nephew sold it to us for a great price, and it literally made us over $150,000 in probably a 2-month period. Now, we did that, and we never would have got that deal if we hadn't asked this simple question, do you know anyone else that's interested in selling? She would have never brought it up, we would have never asked, and it wouldn't have made a difference. Sorry about that, a water break. But we did that, made a huge difference. So we asked every single person, whether we buy their house or not, Do you know anyone else interested in selling? Because you never know. And if it ever comes out and works out, then hey, you just made money on a deal that you never would have got because you didn't ask. Now, the other story is about asking them if they have any other property to sell. Had a gentleman called him. I actually had two situations like this. Had a gentleman called and he said he had a house he wanted to sell. We said, okay, fine. Took all this information, talked to him about the house and everything else. Before we got off the call, I said, hey, just asking, do you have any other properties that you're interested in selling? He said, yeah, I do. I got these 3 other houses and they're empty and I just want to get rid of them. We ended up buying those 3 houses, and I kid you not, they were in an okay neighborhood, but they were vacant. He was an out-of-state owner, and he bought the houses with his brother as investments, and his brother skipped town and did not finish dealing with the properties, and so he had these 3 houses that he owned free and clear, and he just wanted to get rid of them. We bought all 3 houses for $15,000. All 3 houses. Now, you're saying to yourself, well, how did you get them for $15,000? Because we talked to him and we went through the whole spiel that we go through and everything else. He just wanted to get rid of these properties. He had been holding them for about 3 years and had done absolutely nothing with them. He didn't even know what the houses looked like. We literally had to send someone over there to look at the houses and everything else. And they needed work, don't get me wrong, but they were not that bad. They were bad, but not that bad. One of them did have a tenant in it that was just basically a squatter. We went back to him and said, this is what we've got, and this, that, and the other. We ended up buying all 3 properties for $15,000. We sold the first property for $80,000. We sold the second property, I want to say, for like $90,000. And we sold the last property, was the worst one, the one that had the squatter tenant. We had to get them out. We sold that property for $25,000. Now you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, that's a low price. But remember, we bought these things, the total, all 3, we paid $15,000. So you can see how we made a huge killing on these 3 properties just by asking the guy, did you have any other property you want to sell? And then we didn't even buy the property that we did the whole conversation about. We didn't buy that property. We bought the 3 properties. We never would have got them if we didn't ask. So it's always important to ask people, do you have any other properties to sell? That was one story. The other story, same situation, kind of different. The guy was an in-state buyer, but he was older. The gentleman was actually, it's kind of a sad story. The gentleman had been diagnosed with cancer. He had a large portfolio of properties. Him and his wife, they had 2 businesses and a large portfolio of properties that he had amassed over the last 20 years. He did not want to spend his last years dealing with tenants and dealing with his properties. He sold us 23 properties. All 23 of them had a tenant. All the tenants were paying rent and paying and everything else. And this happened because he called us about one property. He didn't know we bought multiple properties. So he was calling us about one. We asked him, he ended up selling us 23 properties that he had. And they were all occupied, and we got them at about 60 cents on the dollar, 60 cents of what they were worth. So if they were each worth $100,000, we got them for $60,000 or less. One of them we still own. This happened like a year and a half ago. One of them we still own just because we had to put the tenant out, and the tenant had been there. There were several of them like this. On 3 or 4 of the houses, the tenants had been in the houses for 30 plus years. That means that the tenant had literally paid the house off over 30 years and still did not own the house. They still were just renting. And that was amazing to me. And it was kind of sad, but we bought the properties. This last one, the tenant, we're helping that tenant because we don't want to displace people unfairly. And because we bought them and we weren't going to keep them as rentals, we sold the property. We're selling the property, but we are helping them move. And so it's just taking time for them to move. They're paying their rent every month, but we're moving them out of the property to something else. So always ask for sellers and property owners, ask them if they have anything else. It makes a huge difference. This one is good. Partner with companies that have complementary businesses. I did this years ago, back around 2008, when the market was crashing. We were still buying stuff. We were still moving and shaking and doing everything we do. And we got a buyer, or we bought a house and we needed to clean it out. It had a lot of trash in it. We had to clean it out. We called a place and they came out to do a clean out for us. And they were telling us, I was talking to the owner. He was telling us how they cleaned out for banks and cleaned out for all these different people. So I thought to him and I said, hey, you do all these clean outs. Are the houses for sale when you clean them out? And they said, no, they're not for sale. They're about to go for sale. So I said, hey, would you consider every time you clean out a house that you know is about to go for sale, just give us a call, let us know the address, give us the owner and whatever, and we'll reach out to them. And he said, yeah, what's in it for me? And I said, well, every time we buy one of the houses, we'll pay you $500. And he said, well, how do I know you're going to pay me the $500? And I said, if you bring us 5 houses and we don't buy any of them, then call me and ask me, or bring us a house. You can ask me at any time. Give me a call and I'll tell you what's going on with it. And I said, at what point do I have a reason to screw you out of $500 when you're going to be steadily bringing me houses? Made sense to him. So he called me. We ended up buying several houses because of him giving us leads that were available, that were before they went on market. And because we came in and said, we'll buy them, they cut a deal with us and were able to quickly sell because they cared more about the time of how fast they sold than they did about the price. So again, partnering with complementary businesses. It doesn't have to be a clean out crew. It could be all kinds of complementary businesses. I'll touch on a few of them in the next couple of moments. So complementary businesses, just make a note of how you can work with them, be creative, and talk to them. It never hurts. And at the end of the day, if they say no, how much worse off are they? The next one we've got is divorce and estate lawyers. Now, this one is a little bit more common. A lot of investors reach out to divorce and estate lawyers, but at the same time, reach out to them because they may or may not have a relationship. You never know if they got burned from one investor, or they might be looking for an investor that can buy the properties, because a lot of times with divorce and estate lawyers, they're more interested in the family moving the property, and they want something quick and easy so that they can get in and out of the deal. So these are a great way to connect. Reach out to 10, 15 divorce estate lawyers in your area. Just tell them you're an investor. If they ever come across property that needs to sell fast, you're a cash buyer, you can close quickly, and this, that, and the other, and buy their properties. It doesn't hurt at all. And if they tell you no, so what? Hire postal workers. Now, this one is a little bit more controversial, but I've done it in the past and it worked like gangbusters. Hiring postal workers. We talked about driving for dollars. Well, who drives areas, or who's in areas and they know that the houses are empty without a question? Postal workers. Postal workers walk the same area day in, day out. They know the houses that mail is piling up at that nobody lives in. They know the properties that are getting foreclosure notices and letters. They know the properties that they're getting, the people are trying to move out. They know that stuff. They know the neighborhoods. Reach out to a postal worker, drive in an area, say, hey, I'm an investor. I'm looking to buy properties. Would you be interested in just giving me the addresses of properties that you know to be empty? I'm not asking you to do anything illegal or anything that goes against your job. But if you'll just take a little notepad, write down, or even text me the addresses of properties that are empty, for every property address you text me and it's empty, I'll pay you $5. And they could say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not risking my job. But at the end of the day, let's say they sent you 10 houses and you had to pay them $50. You got 10 know they're empty houses. You can probably ask them other questions like, who does this show as the owner on the mail? Is there a forwarding address? And they can probably get you some of that stuff after you build the relationship. Now, they're not going to do this just stranger danger walks up to them and says, start giving me houses. But you build a relationship. You reach out to them, say, hey, I'm an investor in the area. And you might stop by or catch them on their route once or twice while you're already out driving for dollars. If you can set this up with a postal worker, it works great, and it's nothing better. Instead of you driving for dollars with houses you think are empty, talking to them, paying a couple of bucks, and knowing they're empty, and possibly getting a forwarding address. So that's another one, postal workers. Another one I've done is write articles for local papers and online. You can write articles about anything online and for local papers. I wrote for a local paper called The Shopper for years, and I literally wrote about real estate. Now, you might not be as well versed in real estate, and so you might say, well, I don't know what I could write about. Write about anything. And in the bottom of when you write your article or whatever, and then you can say, hey, by the way, I buy houses if you have a house you're hoping to sell. Now, it's always helpful if you write something complimentary. So you might talk about decorating houses. You might talk about seniors moving on. If you're in a career that deals with seniors, you could write about that and then say, also, we buy houses, because people that are seniors might read your articles and then say, oh, I'm selling my house. Anything you write about, people will find interest in. And when you do that, if you do it consistently, then you will be able to build up a rapport with people, and they will trust you, and they will refer others to you. They will tell people about you. And I did this, and I have bought properties from writing my articles, so I cannot say it was in vain, because we did buy properties from this. If you're unsure what to do, you can make a blog. There's all kinds of ways online. You can look up, I can't remember the name. I'll put the name in the comments if someone asks. There's a website where you can write blog posts, and you basically put your blog post and you put what it's about, and people will check in. Now, here's the thing about that. You want to try to stay with local papers because you're buying in your local area. So when you do online, I did my online, the local paper had an online outlet, and I did my articles on the online part of their local outlet. If you do something that's nationwide or worldwide, you'll still get people that possibly call you, but you might get people that call you in Texas and you're in Louisiana. So you have to be careful with that. But check out local papers. A lot of times they need content, so they're very happy to take your articles, and you just have to write them weekly or whatever it is, and it's something you can do. So it will help. The other thing, like I said before, is to get the testimonial videos. We get testimonial videos when we're selling the house and when we're buying the house on both sides. And then we put those onto our website. We put those onto, if you ever do Facebook posts, you can put those on those, and they work like gangbusters because people see them and they feel they're very genuine, which they are, and it works really well. So testimonial videos, again, is another. And finally, film walkthroughs of ugly houses. When you're going to buy a house, or even when you bought a house and the house is horrible, if you follow me on TikTok, then you know that I put some videos of some houses that were just crappy. They had all kinds of stuff in them. They just had just everything, and these videos have been very positive with people saying, oh man, I can't believe that. And it gets you a following of people, and they will refer you to people that they know because they know you buy houses. And those people that laughed at you get to see that, hey, he's serious or she's serious and she's buying houses. And so it adds credibility to your name. So these all kind of follow under indirect marketing. The thing I tell people about indirect marketing to know, that I want people to know, is that while these things will all help you, and especially if you do all of them, they'll help you generate leads and can help you generate deals. The only thing is you can't control when they generate deals. So you don't know when. You might put a business card out and it might not generate a deal. That specific business card might not generate a deal for 6 years. It might be 6 years later when somebody says, I saw your card at the Piggly Wiggly, and so I'm going to call you. So you don't know when they're going to generate the deal. And so you have to put out a lot of stuff. And then two, you don't know what kind of deal they're going to generate. When you say you buy houses, people are going to call you that have no equity. People are going to call you that have title issues. So you don't know what you're going to get. And remember, the number one thing that we want with quick turn real estate, if we're going to do quick turn real estate deals, is equity. Everything else is secondary. The condition of the house, what area it's in, all of that is secondary to equity. Equity is the number one thing we care about, and that's the one thing with indirect marketing you usually cannot control. You can't control how much equity is in the deal. But either way, this is stuff that you definitely should use. I've used every single thing I'm talking to you about in this. That's why I can talk about it, and I give probably longer stories than I should. But hopefully this has been helpful for you. Hopefully this information is going to help you grow and give you all kinds of avenues of how to be creative and get your name out there and get arrested when they turn marketing to buy houses into something illegal. They'll be able to find you and say you were one of the people that are marketing. And hopefully this generates and gets you going and gets you started. Now next week, or the next video I'm going to get into, is going to go into some direct marketing and things that cost a little bit more, but there are going to be some benefits to that, and I'll go through all of that stuff. So until next time, I hope this has been great. Here's one last word from our sponsor, and then I'll be right back. Hey, this is Art Veal, a real estate vet. I want to take this time to invite you to invest with us in our commercial wealth fund. If you ever have extra cash that you've taken out of a deal, hey, you know me. If you watch my videos, you know that I'm a big advocate for taking single family real estate and quick turning it and using those funds in commercial, and then using your money to buy and hold in commercial real estate. Well, if you're intimidated by commercial, or not sure if it's something you want to get into, at least not by yourself, then come and check out our passive real estate wealth fund. You can earn a great return. You get tax benefits. You can start with as little as $10,000. You'll get regular distributions. You'll get to learn commercial while you earn. You'll learn about capital structuring, which is vital to commercial real estate success. You'll also learn why commercial is better than residential. And you'll be able to understand your investment and have transparency, because we're very transparent. You'll get to reinvest profits once we have a liquidity event, which is always a big deal when we have one of those liquidity events and we tell everyone how much they're getting over on their money. You also get to learn a lot of commercial strategies, and there's so many more benefits. So why don't you take a moment, click on the link below this, set up a call. We'll get on a call. We'll explain how the program works. We'll see if it's a good fit for you, and you can join our commercial wealth fund today. It's a great opportunity. So, hey, without further ado, I don't want to hold you up anymore. Until next time, happy hunting. All right, and welcome back. So thank you for the time. Thank you for the video. If you haven't already, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to my channel, Rent to Wealth. I'll be happy to share any information, answer questions for you that I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll try to help you find it. Until next time, I wish you the best. And as always, mindset over motivation and happy hunting. Till next time, have a great one, everyone.